Welcome, everyone, with Greg Roth and yours truly, Eric Glazer. This is your Sharp Squares podcast for the week 2 of the NFL season, 2023-24. We had 6 medal games last week. We won 4 of them, going 4-2. You probably had us going 4 for 6 in 3-2-1 and 3-2 in pick 5. We actually ended up with slightly different records. The long and short of it is, folks, we've been using, including last week, the CBS lines for pick 5, and we're in a DraftKings pool now, and we had to put all the DraftKings lines into the algorithm after the show. It allowed us to make different picks, and it allowed us to win an extra game there. And for 3-2-1, we have different lines too, and we put that into the algorithm after the show, and it ended up allowing us to flip the Steelers from our 2-point game to our 3-point game. That didn't work out. That's why we ended up getting 1 less point than you might have thought. Moving forward, we will be using the DraftKings lines, so there won't be any confusion. And if we make any changes to the 3-2-1 algorithm, we'll make sure we tweet them out. So that's the story here, but let's get on to week 2. Let's get on to the aggregation of the most popular public handicappers picks out there. And we do this through a segment called Gold, Silver, Bronze. So let me introduce you to everyone's favorite fellow degenerate, the Greg Roth.
Eric, thank you so much. Last week, as you noted, 6 medal games, 4-2. There were 2 gold games last week and no silver games and 4 bronze games. This week, a repeat performance. 6 medal games, Eric, 6 of them. And it's the exact same breakdown. 2 gold games, no silver games, and 4 bronze games. The first gold game, the pick, is the Tennessee Titans. They're plus 3.5. Again, using that DraftKings pool lines. All these lines will be the DraftKings lines moving forward. The Titans, they're plus 3.5. They're at home facing the Los Angeles Chargers. Steve Fezzik, Will Brinson, RJ White, and Mike Lombardi all picked Tennessee. There was dissent on this gold game, Eric, from the Whale Capper and Gil Alexander, who liked the Chargers. The second gold game, it's an exciting pick. I know you're going to like it. It's the Carolina Panthers. Another home dog, the second one. Both gold games home dogs. That'll be a trend and a theme this week in week 2. They're plus 3.5. Facing the New Orleans Saints, the Whale Capper, Rob Pizzola, Ross Tucker, Steve Fezzik, and Joe Ranieri all picked the Panthers. Nobody picked the Saints. 4 bronze games. 4. No silver games, 4 bronze games. The first bronze game, the pick, the Seattle Seahawks. They're traveling to Detroit to take on the 1-0 Lions. The Favorites podcast, Gil Alexander, Chris Raybon, AJ Hoffman, and Marco D'Angelo all picked Seattle. None of the Sharps picked the Lions. The second bronze game, another home dog, Eric. The pick, the Atlanta Falcons. They're plus 1.5. Actually, are they a home dog? Because that current line has moved as of Friday night. It's about 6:30 Eastern time on Friday night. Currently, the Falcons are minus 1.5. But in our pool, the Falcons are plus 1.5. They're at home versus the Green Bay Packers. The Favorites podcast, Fabian Summer, Chris Raybon, and RJ Bell all picked Atlanta. Nobody picked the Packers. The third bronze game, the pick, is the Kansas City Chiefs. They're coming to Florida, Eric. They're going to enjoy some warm weather in Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. RJ Bell and Rob Pizzola picked the Chiefs. Kelly Stewart does like the Jaguars. The last bronze game, the pick, is the Denver Broncos. They're minus 3.5 at home versus the Washington Commanders. Stuckey, Gil Alexander, Adam Chernoff, and Mike Lombardi all like Denver. Ross Tucker and Dissent picked the Commanders. To recap, the Titans and Panthers are gold. The Seahawks, Falcons, Chiefs, and Broncos are bronze, no silver. Eric, that leads us to our picks in this DraftKings pool. So we have to eliminate one game. We have 6 medal games. We eliminated the Broncos. That's our lowest rated game. Is that the reason why we eliminated them? I think
we eliminated them. It was close.
That was the only reason. They were the low. There was no other rationale. They're the lowest rated game. So our DraftKings picks are going to be the Titans, the Panthers, the Seahawks, the Falcons, and the Chiefs. Denver is out. We do have the ability to change those picks Sunday morning. We'll let you know if we do. For 3-2-1, I'm confused on that, Eric. It's been a long week. Can you explain why the Panthers, one of the goal games, did not make our 3-2-1 picks?
Well, first you got to tell everyone the 3-2-1 picks.
Right? I'll do that. The Titans, the top rated goal game, that's going to be our 3-point game. And then we move the Seahawks to our 2-point game all the way from bronze. The Falcons make it to our 1-point game. We are getting the same line value from 1.5 plus to minus 1.5 with the Falcons to the current line. They become our 1-point game. Why did the Panthers basically get eliminated for the Seahawks there?
So in DraftKings, the Titans and the Panthers were both at lines at 3.5 plus 3.5, and 3-2-1. We're getting them both at +3. So the line adjustments within the 3-2-1 algorithm dropped both those games down. The Titans were a higher gold game and sort of didn't drop out of the top 3 where the Panthers did. The Seahawks and the Falcons both are games that had the same exact line and stayed exactly where they were. So if you think of our top 4 games, folks, from the pick 5 as Titans, Panthers, Seahawks, Falcons, basically the Panthers dropped all the way back down to 5th. The 2nd and 3rd teams moved up. The 3rd and 4th teams moved to 2nd and 3rd. Those are your top 3 games. So then we looked at it one more time, and with the Seahawks and Falcons basically being in a statistical dead heat, we looked at exactly what you just said around the Falcons getting basically 6 units of line movement. We think of a unit as a half a point going from +1.5. It's now -1.5 in real life. We're getting now 6 units of value there. And there is some value with the Seahawks, 2 units of value versus the current line. We're getting +5.5. Current line's 4.5 as we record the show, but that's how we did it. We chose the Titans. It held ground barely to still be our top game. Probably would have been a bronze game with the 3-2-1 lines. And then we had the Falcons as 2. They were basically a dead heat with the Seahawks, but we figured the extra units of line value against the current line warranted it to go up to 2, and we made the Seahawks our 1-point game.
There is a method to the madness.
I hope that was clear. If not, hit me up on Twitter or on Discord, and I'll provide some more detail. If that's all you were looking for, and that was a lot, you are now all dismissed. And if you want to stick around for some handicapping highlights, we're going to start with some trends. Take it away, Mr. Roth.
Eric, the trends this week, they're general week 2 trends. Since 2005, the first one since 2005, went 2-0-1 against the spread teams. So not 0-1, just 0-1. 0-1 against the spread teams. Play in week.
Tell it straight up, Greg. I'll give you the terminology glossary after the show.
I think what I said worked as well. Anyway, when 2-0-1 against the spread teams playing week 2, the underdog has gone 43-23-2. That's 65%. That's courtesy of Bet Labs. That's applicable this week, by the way, to the Texans, +1.5 versus the Colts, the Commanders, +3.5 at Denver. That's opposite of our Denver medal game. And helps us on our gold game, the Panthers +3 versus New Orleans. Another week 2 trend there. Teams off a double-digit loss in week 1 facing a team not off a double-digit loss in week 1, 32-16-2 against the spread since 2014. That's applicable to the Seahawks, Bears, Bengals, Giants, Panthers, and Steelers. Seahawks, Bears, Bengals, Giants, Panthers, and Steelers. When those teams are on the road, 19-2-1 against the spread. 19-2-1. That is the Giants, the Bears, and the Seahawks. I'm liking that. Now that's another reason to move that Seahawk game into our 3-2-1 lineup, isn't it?
Because we didn't like it, right? We're like, oh my God, when I stuck with the Seahawks, that makes me feel slightly better.
I still don't like it. Eric, teams that won the opener by double digits have gone 35-51-1. That's 41% against the spread in week 2. That's applicable to the Falcons, the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Rams, the 49ers, the Jets, and the Steelers.
Good stuff. Let's get to our first gold game. Chargers at the Titans +3.5. This is a combination of handicapping highlights from the Dream Preview, CBS Pick 6, the GM Shuffle, and the favorites. Thank you to the entire team that brought this all together, including Jared Gu Long. 3 themes to the handicaps for the Titans. The Chargers are banged up at their skill positions. Eckler and Mike Williams are doubtful right now at the time, maybe questionable at the time that we're doing this show. There's a coaching edge in favor of Tennessee's Vrabel versus Staley. And the third theme is Derrick Henry should be able to exploit a bad Chargers run defense. Steve Fezzik at the Dream Preview said he doesn't understand this line. He has the Chargers as a 1-point favorite. Fez has already bet the game at +3.5. This was a free early release for his listeners of the early line market report. He also gave it to his paid clients. McKenzie also said at the Dream Preview, hey, the only explanation for this number is that the public loves offense and thinks the 30+ points scored last week by the Dolphins is repeatable. They don't think so. CBS Pick 6, this is from RJ White. He says that Tennessee had Tannehill throw way too much during week 1. Henry should be featured against a bad rush defense. Tennessee's defense has a tendency to give up yards but not points, and they can't play as poorly on offense as they did last week. Mike Lombardi at the GM Shuffle, he said that last year the Titans lost 14-10 in LA, and that was a really hard game for the Chargers. Kelvin Moore, as an OC for the Cowboys last year, struggled to put up points versus the Titans, and now he is the OC at the Chargers. Tennessee is healthy and at home, and they've played the Chargers well, and now they've played their new OC well in the past. The struggles of the run defense for the Chargers will continue as it's Tennessee's strong suit. There was dissent from Matchbooks, the Whale Capper. The Chargers throw the ball deep and attack the Titans through the pass, and they'll be successful there. And if the Chargers stifle the Titans' offense, it's a game for the Chargers. Here are the timestamps if you want to go to these shows and get a more full detailed handicap. The Dream Preview, you could go to 1 hour, 34 minutes and 25 seconds. CBS Pick 6, you could go to 33 minutes and 50 seconds to pick up the handicap of this game. The GM Shuffle covers it at 43 minutes and 46 seconds, and Matchbook covers it at 58 minutes even.
Eric, the second goal game, the Saints at the Panthers. Panthers getting +3.5 at home. These highlights courtesy of Chris Deester. The themes of the game: division home dog, that's the Panthers. Also the first home game for rookie first-round pick Bryce Young. From Steve Fezzik, both on the Even Money and Dream Preview. He wasn't impressed, was Fez, with Derek Carr last week. He actually massively disappointed with his debut on the Saints, and that offense was disappointing. The summer line in this game was pick 'em, and now it's all the way to 3. Did New Orleans do anything to make Fezzik want to invest in them? Quote, God, no, unquote. Ross Tucker agrees with Fez on this play, wants to be patient with the number in hopes of the public pushing the favorite up late to a possible +4. From Rob Pizzola, Forward Progress. That's his. I like that podcast name, by the way. I just want to remark on that. He likes the Panthers +3 at +105 or +3.5 at -117. He would bet it to +3 at -108. He doesn't trust the Saints to win by margin. They've historically struggled to cover, especially as a favorite. Thinks the Panthers can generate a decent pass rush. Derek Carr struggles outdoors on the road against pressure. Yards per play metrics for Panthers were better than the Falcons last week in that game. Score doesn't show how tight the game actually was. Saints interior defensive line is not strong against the run, so Panthers should be able to run the ball. Saints Titans also had a misleading score. I'll agree with that. I watched a lot of that Titans game. Titans left a lot of plays on the field. Of course, they're our top game this week, but no bias. Titans had a defensive score blown dead. Tannehill threw, 3 or 4 interceptions, missed opportunities all over the field. That's all according to Rob Pizzola. In dissent, Scott Seidenberg and AJ Hoffman from the Dream Preview, they said the Saints held Derrick Henry down for most of last week. They don't see Bryce Young doing anything special against the Saints because he really didn't do anything special in week 1. In the last 20 week 1 through 3 games, rookie QBs are 4-16 against the spread and 1-18-1 straight up. So in the last 20 weeks, 1 through 3 games, rookie quarterbacks are 1-18-1 straight up. Carolina also is only 11-21 against the spread at home since 2019. Weeks 1 through 10 since 2013 for a retread head coach. This is good. Weeks 1 through 10 since 2013 for a retread head coach. Only 39.7% against the spread, 89, 135, and 5. That's a pretty big sample size. How about this for rookie quarterbacks in September, Eric? Rookie quarterbacks in September since 2021, 2-13 against the spread. Man, I'm loving that Panthers game, that Panthers gold game. Timestamp, stream preview, 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 37 seconds. Forward progress, 49 minutes, 47 seconds.
Packers at the Falcons. We took the game and the Sharps took the game at +1.5. Keep that in mind. Notes here come from the Dream Preview, Action Network, Forward Progress, and the favorites. Two themes here. Green Bay is overinflated coming off a victory versus a bad defense, and Green Bay is also battling injuries. Chris Raybon at the Action Network, who is our #1 Sharp from win percentage last year, by the way. He has Atlanta valued as the favorite in this game. He thinks Green Bay is way overhyped. He thinks the score was overinflated and doesn't represent the offensive output that the Green Bay offense actually produced. He also thinks that the Atlanta's run offense poses a major problem for the Green Bay defense. He thinks their heavy run personnel, they have a heavy run personnel, which Chicago could not do against Green Bay last week. Atlanta can. Stuckey also agreed with Raybon's analysis and points out that Green Bay is injured. Wide receiver Christian Watson is doubtful. Running back Aaron Jones is also doubtful. RJ Bell from the Dream Preview, he said one of the things that we believe in when it comes to luck is 3rd and 4th down conversions, and Green Bay was shockingly good on 3rd and 4th down. This win for Chicago was very deceiving. Just last week, Atlanta was favored by 1.5. Green Bay's Christian Watson, of course, is projected to be out. Teams who have to go back-to-back on road games are 49, 49, and 3. That is the Packers. From Matchbook, Fabian Summer, known as Suma, as you guys know, he likes the Falcons at +2. He thought Ritter didn't play well, but also faced one of the best defensive coordinators in the league last week. He's not sold on the Packers defense to begin with, and they do, of course, have injuries. They also lack cornerback depth, and the Bears offense made the Packers defense simply look better, Greg. Back-to-back road games for the Packers, also a factor because Atlanta actually has had back-to-back home games, so they haven't moved. Finally, Chad Millman from the favorites. Packers looked awesome and played against a high school defense for the Bears. Why are the Falcons the home dog versus this Packers team? Of course, they are no longer the home dog as we record this show. Timestamps if you want to catch these handicaps in full. Dream Preview, 42 minutes and 43 seconds. Forward Progress, 49 minutes, 47 seconds. Action Network, 23 minutes, 1 second. And the favorites at 25 minutes and 10 seconds. Thank you all for listening. Subscribe. Remember, we are certainly not sharp, but this is your Sharp Squares podcast.
Good luck out there.